I thought this was cute. This is like a Palamute in real life. Dog knows how to play. Adorable.
Mugsley, turn your head this way.
Jeebies. I wish that was a boss in Elden Ring. That'd be kind of cool. Alright, let's get the links out and get this started. We got some shit to talk about. gAYS against gROomERS. gAYS against gROomERS. Oh. Oh. Okay, good. I was gonna say, I thought my stream wasn't started. I thought it was started. I thought we're doing this. Alrighty. Alright, I'm your host, Michael Ringtail, and you can call this Human Watch. Humans can't help themselves but go after the queer humans once again in a new group called gAYS against gROomERS. Their effort is to find queer people who are out of the closet and, I don't know, a little uppity, I guess, when it comes to their rights, and using that against them. Yeah, we're a coalition of gays against the sexualization and indoctrination of children. Okay, well, first of all, gay's not catching, so you can't indoctrinate children into the gayness. If you're gay, you're gonna be gay. Like, for me, I kind of figured that out early on in my life. Well, you know, when I was in elementary school, I didn't have a word for it. You know, I had yet to develop. And then when I finally did, I just had these bi feelings to coincide with my straight feelings. Yeah, I didn't know the term bisexual at the time. When I was a child, when I was a little cub. But yes, I was into the males and the females. This was the 90s and early 2000s. Where was my indoctrination there? Let's see, what were they proposed? So transitioning and medicalization of minors. Puberty blockers do not harm minors. No one's getting major surgery done when they're still growing and developing. It's just not happening. So, Dragon Pride events involving children. Why is it bad to let kids know that there's different people that exist? We had all this shit in our public school system where it was all about racism and going against racism. Should we not teach kids about racism? And I learned sex ed in the 4th grade. They taught us penis goes in vagina. Penis squirts semen. Creates baby. That's about it. And knowing that there's people that are males that are attracted to males and females that are attracted to females, knowing that kind of would have helped with the self-hatred there for a lot of people. Queer and gender theory being taught in classroom. Why? Why does it matter? Propagandization youth with LGBTQIA+ media. Again, what about all the other propaganda that goes out that's pro-military, that's just patriotism, or propaganda, where it's like, oh yeah, cops are your friends. Cops are your friends. Oh, ignore that man beating that black dude with in his face with a billy club. That's just silly fun over there. So, first of all, before we go into the video, thankfully this channel is very, very small. They ain't growing anytime soon. But yeah, it's also being perpetuated by the mainstream media. Fox, MSN, well maybe not MSN as much, but whatever. Doesn't matter.
When did our public schools, any schools, become what are essentially grooming centers for...
See, now instead of calling all gay people pedophiles, they want to call us all groomers, as in somehow converting children into being queer, and then, I don't know, starting relationships with them. It doesn't make any sense. You can't make someone gay. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter if you start young or whatever. You're not gonna change the wiring in someone's brain to think that to be gay, even though they're not.
Gender identity.
It doesn't work because it's been tried with gay people and trans people to make them straight. And wow, wouldn't you know, it didn't work. It never worked. It never will work.
Radicals.
That is the latest GOP talking point. Republicans are now claiming that education, or even just conversations around gender identity and sexual orientation in schools or television programming, is a form of grooming children to become LGBTQ+.
There's never a time when a teacher needs to sit down with kids and tell them that, hey, you know, you're a boy, but you might actually be a girl.
This argument has surfaced in discussions of a recently passed Florida bill that, in part, prohibits classroom discussion about sexual orientation or gender identity in certain grade levels or in a specified
How long before they just get rid of sex ed and just do abstinence only? I mean, I've heard people growing up in states where that's the main thing. They don't even teach sex ed in some of these schools. They just teach abstinence, which is the least effective method to prevent unwanted pregnancies and abortions and everything.
Critics are calling it the Don't Say Gay bill. Proponents are calling it the anti-grooming bill.
If you really want to talk to a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old about their sexuality and gender, that's on you. You're a pervert. You're a weirdo. I don't give a damn if you're a teacher.
Like maybe
I was in the 4th grade when we learned about sex ed. Was my teacher trying to fuck me? Was my 70-year-old teacher trying to fuck me when she was teaching us about sex ed? Teaching us that our bodies are going to start going through changes when we start hitting our teens and our tweens. You know, we start hitting 11, 12 years old. Granted, we were completely immature about it. The word penis made us laugh until throughout the entire class, actually. Every time they said penis and vagina, they were like naughty words to us because we never got to say them when we were younger. Well, younger than that.
teach the kids to read before you tell them to go trans.
No one's telling them to go trans, Tucker, you fucker. Tucker,
You
the
shouldn't
fucker
be
needs to
talking to
shot
kindergartners
in
about
Minecraft.
gender identity, especially if you're not their parents. That's creepy. You should be arrested for that.
Look, there's a reason why the Democrats are treating this bill.
Fucking stop dyeing your beard. It looks fucking awful. Just let it grow out. It's so clean and kept. Almost like a goddamn sim character. I feel like I'm looking at a PC,
Like it's the apocalypse. All we're telling them is you can't groom young children.
Yeah.
And to them,
Wrong.
it's Armageddon. And that's because they know they have to indoctrinate.
No. There it is. Because you can't have any gay people unless you teach people how to be gay. Well, where was mine? Who taught me how to be gay? Or bisexual, whatever. Where's my classes on that? When did that happen? Nothing.
The kids into this madness very, very young.
The supposed indoctrination of the nation's children isn't just in schools, according to conservatives. It's also in media.
Now it's all about pushing a sexual agenda on little children across their entertainment platforms.
You don't have to be afraid to, like, let's have these two characters kiss, let's in the background, like, I was just wherever I could.
You have straight people kissing all the fucking time from the start of movies until now. What are we supposed to be outraged about?
Just basically adding queerness.
They've been really open to exploring queer stories.
Disney wants to completely take your children and they want to indoctrinate them into sexual, immoral filth.
The fact that we are trying to accelerate our kids in this direction is incredibly concerning for me as a parent.
The fact
that they want to sexualize our children and our children's childhood.
Sexualization happens in the mind, Sean Duffy here. So, I mean, the question is, why are you sexualizing children? Why is Sean Duffy allegedly a pedophile? I don't understand this. If you don't want to sexualize something, don't sexualize it. Like an outfit, hair, feet, even genitalia just by itself is not sexual. Those are body parts. But people sexualize it. People get excited by feet. And the people who get excited by children are usually priests, coaches, Boy Scout leaders, people in the family. In fact, while this goes on, I can even look up the statistics to prove my point.
For their own political agenda is incredibly disturbing. Instead of making films that kids want to watch, they're actually making films that will indoctrinate them.
Their main, quote, goal as a...
Kids will watch anything. What the fuck do you mean? Instead of making films kids want to watch. They can't make films kids want to watch that include people who are just not straight. They can't do that. That's not possible. That's not a feasible possibility.
Company is now to teach kindergartens in Florida that they can, in fact, change their gender just by wishing it so. It makes you wonder if kids in Florida can consent to chemical castration with no parental involvement.
This isn't programming. This is propaganda for grooming.
According to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, or RAIN, grooming is defined as manipulative behaviors that the abuser uses to gain access to a potential victim, coerce them to agree to the abuse, and reduce the risk of being caught. So, not what Republicans are talking about. I spoke to...
No, it's not. They're changing the definition now. They're making the word mean nothing. That's why I made that video about being groomed as a child. In fact, let's go to that comment section, because there's a new comment there. Anyways, let's go here.
To Sarah Kate Ellis, president and CEO of GLAAD, to understand a bit more about Republicans' misuse of the word grooming.
What are conservatives really saying?
Clarkson! I haven't watched Robot Wars then, instead. Yeah, I mean, like, it is up to the parent, too, like, what their kid is exposed to. Like, I was watching Nightmare on Elm Street, and all these other horror movies and horror shows, like Friday the 13th, the series... when I was a little cubby, growing up, just a little lemur, yeah, adopted by my human parents, because, you know, I was so intelligent, and I was given to them to be raised. Well, yeah, I was watching horror movies. I saw my first full-on porn after he broke into a closet, in a house, and found a porn tape. And, you know, I was in the 6th grade. It was straight. If anything, that should have made me straighter, but it didn't.
To put this in context, politicians who are anti-LGBTQ have been using this false narrative and stereotype for decades now. LGBTQ people have been falsely accused of crimes and have not been hired as teachers all the way back to Harvey Milk and Anita Bryant days.
What sounds like the behavior of a sex offender. I mean, normal people don't
it sounds like a favor of a sex offender is usually a priest.
sexualize underage children, period.
Teaching them about gay people existing is not sexualizing them. Again, Tucker doesn't seem to understand that sexualization happens in the mind.
Letting them control the narrative here, because these bills actually aren't even about that. These bills are about censorship. Mommy, Mama, and Me, which was one of my kids' favorite books, is not allowed in that classroom anymore. So my kids can read about a mom and a dad and a child, but not two moms and a child. And therefore, the message that they are being sent is that they don't matter, that their family is less than. And that is the danger in all of this. Because if we look at what's going on with our LGBTQ families and our LGBTQ youth, they are under siege right now. In 2021,
and what's hilarious to me is that a lot of these conservatives don't really give a shit. Like, the majority of people on this fucking country don't give a shit. I mean, they don't care that I'm allowed to be married, and they don't care that there's Republicans saying this shit. People are still going to fucking Disney World in droves right now, especially after the pandemic, and people are still watching the movies. There's people that are like, I'm gonna boycott Disney. Oh, what's that? The new Doctor Strange movie's coming out? Oh shit, I gotta check that out right now.
One out of every 4 LGBTQ teen attempted suicide. Sit with that for a minute. And now this year, we've seen over 200 anti-LGBTQ bills that have been put forth. And half of those are anti-trans, and most of them are against our trans youth. What I'd love to see these politicians do is lift these kids up, is to help these kids and these families instead of pushing them down. There's an Equality Act that has been stalled in the Senate that would actually give us protections. There are a number of things that as an LGBTQ community, we're not safeguarded against. We can still be fired in some states for jobs. We could still be denied public housing. Them choosing to instead come after the community instead of help the community is a horrible, horrible thing.
Yep, so there's another similar bill going on in Ohio. It won't be surprising to me that after this pass, maybe we'll get a fine for having the pride flag up on our house or something like that. It'll probably just embolden someone to come up to our doorstep. I can't help but think about it all the time. When I'm at work, when I'm at home, ready to go to bed, I can't help but think like some stranger might just come up to our house while I'm asleep, the most vulnerable position, and try to get away with some shit. So anyways, let's go over some facts before we get into the Gays Against Groomers video here, because that's like the finale, you could say. Let's see here. Not this one. I didn't watch this one yet, but we might. The founder does an interview here. All right. 93% of children who are victims of SA know their abuser. There you go. Less than 10% are abused by a stranger. 70% of, well, SA occurred to children at ages 17. Well, I mean, yeah, 17 and under makes you a child. 1 in 4 girls, 1 in 6 boys. %96 of people who SA of children are male. 76% are married men. How many men were able to be married up until 2016? I'm just asking. 76% of people who SA children are adults, which I find odd that it says that, because that would make the remainder children assaulting children. The younger the victim, the more likely it's to be a family member. These people don't care about protecting children. They just care about the idea of protecting children. They just like to use them as a theatrical prop to excuse any violation of equal rights, human rights, regression, what have you. The science is not on their side in any of this. And you know, as we get into this, let's get right into this. First, I want to see this new one here.
Social media site Reddit yesterday decided that they were no longer going to allow the term groomer.
Wow, this guy can't even fix his fucking audio. It's all in the right ear.
To be used on their page anymore, calling it an LGBTQIA+ slur.
It is. It is now. You guys made it that way. If you're gonna say every gay person is a pedophile, then that's just a way of slurring them.
Joining us now to discuss this, from Gays Against Groomers, Jamie Michelle. Thank you so much for being with us.
Jamie Michelle is a lesbian who is a Uncle Tom. She is just another one of these pick-me conservatives. She's a lesbian who's willing to spout out and regurgitate a bunch of right-wing talking points so that she can face the gas chamber last. That's pretty much what it gets down to.
Hey, Ari. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So can you explain to me why this word is so triggering for them?
Yeah, I think it's because, I mean, they understand that what they're doing is wrong. And
Who's they? And what are they doing? What are they doing? Who are they and what are they doing?
Is actually grooming and sexualizing and indoctrinating children. What they're doing is wrong and is actually grooming and sexualizing.
What? What is actually grooming and sexualizing children? Actually, grooming is grooming. So, as we have the definition right here, I mean, grooming gaining families and victims' trust, providing them with more access to the child. Grooming behaviors may include special attention, outings, and gifts. So, like, when the drag queens hold, like, a fucking dance party in their little bar, their ice cream bar, and they give kids ice cream, is that isolating children from all the others, their parents that are there? Filling the child's unmet needs? I mean, they wanted ice cream in that, just for that example. They wanted ice cream, so I don't know if they needed ice cream. Filling needs and roles within the family, not really there. Treating the child as if he or she is older, no, not exactly. Not really. What about all the girls on the beach wearing skimpy bikinis? Like, drag queens fucking are covered up beyond necessary, like, for the most part. Let's see, if I just look up drag queens, hopefully nothing bad comes up. Oh, wow, man. Wow. Yeah. And if I look at, well, let's not look at DuckDuckGo. Let's go to Google for this one. Girl on beach. Preferably woman on beach. Oh, there we go. Oh, man. What happens if a kid comes around this? Don't you know that's grooming? Someone needs to tell this woman that she's grooming children by wearing this outfit. Children might see that. I mean, she's on a beach. It's a public venue. All these people around. Look at that. They're barely even covered. Laying their bodies all out, being exposed, and children are around. Ugh. Ugh, what groomers. Look at all these fucking groomers here. I don't know, that guy's wearing a Speedo. Don't you know if you look closely you can see the bulge? You can see where the parts are? Ugh, how dare they.
And indoctrinating children.
Well, I can't take the right side only audio much longer,
but they need to protect this their agenda at all costs. I mean, they're full steam ahead with it.
What's the agenda?
They're trying to do anything they can to get people to stop talking about it, but
no one's trying to do anything to get people to stop talking about it other than the fact that you're lying. You're a piece of shit. How much are they paying? How much money are you getting for this shit? I wonder if I could find anything about this person just off the cuff
they're
here.
Only making people talk about it more. So I'm not sure why they do this to themselves, but they always seem to you know, get in their own way. But I think that's why they're doing it.
So here's
yeah,
something.
It's ridiculous.
Well, I think about the TV show The West Wing, and there's a great episode where they're always trying to attach amendments about gay marriage or protection of marriage or whatever it is to different legislation they're passing that has nothing to do with it. And President Bartlett says in the show, I don't get it. These people can't stop talking about sex. And in that case, he's actually talking about people on the right side of the aisle. But it seems like all this...
That's all the right wings do. They assume everything is fucking. Saying that gay people is the same way as saying like people want to fuck kids. That's all it is to these people. That's all I think about. It's almost it gets to the point where like it's just like the classic homophobe cases where people rail against gay people to the point and they're calling for their deaths in some cases, and then wow, well you know later on you find out that he's paying gay hookers on the side when he's not hanging out with his wife. Jesse Lee Peterson was another person that just lost a bunch of shit. He got canceled by the right because he got exposed as being a gay man. Another gay person in the closet. Nick Fuentes, another gay person in the closet. He goes out of his way to prove that he's straight with his weird fucking cultish behavior with his fans. Maybe we'll get into him at some point. All you need to know about Nick Fuentes is he's a fucking weirdo. Another gay man in the closet. Repressed. And when I hear this shit about all these people railing against so-called groomers, I just think, in a lot of cases, these people protest too much. They start telling on themselves in this fashion.
Is always just about the hypersexualized agenda. Why the extreme focus on this?
Why are you focusing on this? Sure.
I'm not sure, but it started a long time ago, even before they started going after children in recent years.
I mean, going after children? How do you mean? How are they going after children? Yeah, gay people are coming to teach your kids that gay people exist. Because straight people sure as hell ain't going to tell them, apparently. They're just going to want to pretend like, oh yeah, that person doesn't have two mommies. And what happens with one of my family members and, you know, they have a kid or something, and what, are they just going to pretend that I'm not an uncle at that point? Is it grooming to tell any nephew or niece I might have in the future that they have 3 uncles all living together and married in the same household? Give me a fucking break.
In myself and many of our other...
I was wondering how long before some asshole comes to the house about the fucking flag. I just hope I'm awake for it. I want to see it. I want to see it for myself. I want to look the person in the face, and I hope he fucking I hope he'll be on camera, so I won't even be the one that throws the first punch. I just fucking want him to come. I just hope he doesn't kill me. That's it. I just hope he doesn't kill me. Whatever he does, hope he doesn't kill me. So if he did, it's whatever. It just makes me a martyr at that point. So who is Jamie Michelle? Where the fuck does she come from?
Coalition members have really distanced ourselves from the community as a whole, and we don't go to pride events anymore because the whole thing, is just so overly sexual. Like it's like a kink fest, and we.
So what?
This isn't a.
What about the beach? What about the fucking beach? What about bars? What about biker clubs? You know how many biker clubs I've been to as a child when my dad was playing in the band? Animals of the Night. With girls dressed up in clad out leather and shit. Look at that shit right there in the thumbnail. What is that? What's that big busted girl doing at this event? There's children that might be here. Oh, look at that thumbnail. Biker show. Let's just look up biker show. I don't know, leather girls. All I have to do is type in leather girls. Oh man, look at those fucking, look at that fucking kinky outfit. Look at that fucking fetish gear. No, more fetish gear. Leather coats and chaps. Tisk. Daytona Bike Week. Oh man, look at those that table there. Oh no. Oh my god, walking around out in public like that? Why are they grooming children? Kids can see all this. Oh, it's not even sealed off. Oh, leather daddies. No, Bike Week, yep, more Bike Week stuff. It's just another disguise so they could be, you know, fucking bigots. That's all it is.
Reflection of how we live our lives. I mean, most of us, all of us within the coalition, like,
what about Mardi Gras?
Didn't even know that we were
if I look up Mardi Gras
on the street, you know, we just look like everyone else. We live our lives like anyone else. That's all we wanted, was just to be able to live our lives like everyone else. And as always, you know, the radical woke activists have kind of hijacked the whole movement and are insistent on
Mardi Gras for kids,
corrupting children now in our name.
There's something.
And corrupting children now in our name.
What do you mean corrupting children? How do you mean corrupting? What? Again, where's my corruption?
There's something.
And yeah.
Yeah,
I can't take this anymore. This fucking audio is really
explain
fucked.
this to me, because this is all relatively new for me. Not saying it's a new phenomenon, but something that I've only been talking about recently.
Yeah.
So the LGBT community seems to be a very different approach than the T community, because it seems to be the LGBT community is, we were born this way, we just want to have gay marriage, we want to have all this tech.
Well, trans people were born their way too, dumbass.
Credits that come with it, we want to be accepted commonly in America, etc., etc. And it seems like the T community is about, well, we weren't born this way, so we're going to alter how we were, and we want you to accept us that way. It seems like two very contrary messages.
So it's another way. This is another spin to be a fucking TERF too at the same fucking time. We weren't born this way, but we altered ourselves, so you should accept us. It's still part of the same fucking umbrella. These people are not going to make an exception. They're just focusing on trans people now because it's the latest target. And after trans people are done, it'll be something else. It probably will be just people dressed up in leather and kinky outfits. Even though it covers up more body parts than most bikinis and shit do.
Born this way, so we're going to alter how we were.
They just seem to, out of convenience, want to lump us all together. And now what's even worse is that people are lumping us all together when they see what's being done to children, right? Like, they think that the LGBTQ, I just say the alphabet community because there's too many letters now for me to keep track of. I think there's a number too. But they think everybody in the alphabet community is thinks the same, and that we all support this, and that couldn't be further from the truth. So
support what? No one supports molesting kids. All right, let's get into this right now. Let's get to the main focus here. Let's get into it. Actually, it goes through all the talking points. Right, so first of all...
And when you start fiddling with kids, I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, what a brave individual. Oh, molesting kids is wrong. No shit. Is murdering people wrong too? Can we get a clarification? I don't know if this person's against murdering or not. Is murder bad, just like cold-blooded murder? Is that bad? I don't know. She didn't say anything about it.
And so when we stumbled upon Gays Against Groomers, we played video about this group's pushback against this radical sexualized nature of dealing with children in schools, etc. From story time with, you know, whatever. Come on. But then we reached out to Jamie Michelle.
All right, no, okay, no one wants to fuck your kids, all right? I don't want to be toxic positivity here or anything like that, but generally speaking, no one's interested in going after your children in that way. And you have people like this come out. You have people like Candace Owens come out and say that pedophilia is just down the road. Let me tell you, PDF files are coming. They're coming. Once we get through the trans issue, they're going to come next. It's not happening. It's never going to happen. You're never going to convince normal adults that it's okay for other adults to come after their kids. You might get away with that with some Christians, though. You might get away with that with some Christians. Because the majority of child marriages happen under the Christian umbrella. All I have to do is just pull up a fucking simple wiki article right here. Young females are more likely to be married off than young males. Let's see how many, Hooray! Unchained at Last, an organization dedicated to ending forced and child marriages in the United States, found marriage licenses for 232,000 children between 2000 and 2018. Based on correlation between population and incidence of child marriages. Here's the kicker, too. In these states that this is allowed, you're not allowed to divorce until you're 18. So you could be some 14-year-old, 15, 16-year-old, stuck with some man who might not even love you. You just gotta happen to get pregnant by him. Or he just fucking outright raped you because he's probably in his mid-20s and in most of these cases, or 30s even. Oh, let's see. Ohio. Yeah, the state I'm in right here. 4,000 girls married aged 17 and younger, including 43 aged 15 and younger. Whoop, I don't know where that reference was. 36. 36. Right there. In some of these states, they've blocked bills to stop this sort of shit. Alabama, 8,600 child marriages, the fourth highest amount of any state. So who's grooming who here, huh? Who's the ones being groomed? Who's the ones grooming more children? Fucking pressuring young kids to get married because of either some relationships happening or they got pregnant or something of that nature. Just deciding their entire lives for them before they even figure out who the fuck they really are, or what they like to do, or what their focus is going to be in life, because they're still kids. Who's grooming children again? Yeah, once again, you're never going to convince the regular adults that it's okay for other adults to go after their kids. It's just never going to happen. There's no argument for it. There's no study you can point to. There's no qualified individuals, like evolution, for instance, where you can find scientists all over the world that come to the same conclusion with the same evidence. It's not going to happen. Gay people didn't get accepted because of some, not just because of some protests. They got accepted because of protests, and the research and science was on our side.
And she is the founder of Gays Against Groomers.
Yes.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. I want you to take us to the beginning. What's going on with this group? How did you do it? I love it. Go.
Well, you know, I've actually had an online presence for about 6 years. Back during the 2016 election cycle, I actually supported Trump, and I started an account called The Gay Who Strayed on Instagram, and that over time has blown up to like 250,000 followers. So now I've been doing the same thing for a while, just, you know, spreading news and stuff on that account. And finally, with all of this happening, I was like, I have such a big platform, I can't just not do something about this crisis that we're facing now with
This manufactured crisis. The made up fucking issue.
Done in our name, you know, under the umbrella of pride, because
that's another thing too. I'm not responsible for whatever anyone else does with themselves. Doesn't matter. if they're a Star Wars fan or they're gay or straight or whatever. People are responsible for their own individual actions. Give me a fucking break.
I, along with millions of others, just completely oppose it, and we're disgusted by it. And we need to stop it from happening, A, to protect the children, but also to reclaim our name. Because right now, you know, anything you see coming out of the LGBTQ plus community is targeting kids.
Yeah, include that little mockery there too while you're at it. Even though you're a fucking lesbian.
And we don't want to be associated with it at all. We want to make it very clear that we oppose it. We're just as disgusted by it as parents and concerned people everywhere. So I just...
No one... It's another manufactured issue. Like, no one's coming after your fucking kid. No one wants to have your kids that way. I'm sorry.
The idea popped in my head, Gays Against Groomers. I was like, wow, that has a nice ring to it. So I just created the social pages, and it has... I knew there was a place for it, but it has absolutely skyrocketed. Like, I started it June 6th, and we're already at like 90,000 followers between Instagram and Twitter, all organic, just spreading naturally.
Possibly, but I'm pretty sure you had some funding behind that advertising campaign. Not that there's anything wrong with advertising. It's just the fact that this is just a made-up fucking issue. You're gonna call every gay person who's around children at any point, at any time, a fucking groomer. I just have this dark, strange feeling that Halloween this year isn't going to be as safe for me as it is for everyone else.
So
that's amazing. Well, what sorts of comments are you getting?
So we have a lot of gay people that are like, finally, I can like be happy to call myself part of the community again. This is exactly what I've been looking for. I thought I was alone. Like, they know they're not alone, but they're just
fucking cowards. They're fucking little fuddy-duddies who are still afraid to be themselves, and they're trying to look like one of the good ones by throwing other people under the bus.
No community. You know, there's individual people commenting against what's happening, but there was no united front, basically, you know, in an organized way to band together and push back against it. And then there, you know, from the beginning, I said, allies welcome. Please join us, follow us. Like, we're all together. Like, you don't have to be gay to follow the movement.
Of course not.
But, you know, I have gotten probably more messages and comments from straight people that are just like, I have never had a problem with the right to marry, with same-sex marriage, or you guys just living your life. Like,
yeah, but they're not doing anything to stop the Supreme Court from overturning that, are they? They're not going to do anything about that. They're going to vote in DeSantis.
A lot of people are like, I have so many family members and friends that are gay, and they're so against this. And
I can't be racist. I have black friends.
Thank you so much for standing up for this. And I did so also because, you know, the problem is straight people really don't have a voice in this because they're instantly written off as hateful and bigots and all.
Because they fucking are.
In the world.
Well, they are. That's how it is. And if you're against queer acceptance and kids being taught that queer people exist, like, how many kids grew up in the 90s, 80s, and before, who had to hide themselves in the closet, who didn't even have a fucking childhood? I didn't have a fucking teenage... as far as I'm concerned, I didn't have much of a teenage life. Till the very end. But even then, it was just fucking masking up till they didn't know key parts about me that they could use against me. Yeah, they don't want to... make sure they didn't know anything about my bisexuality. Especially the furry shit. I mean, look at me. I'm a fucking lemur. I'm under construction right now. But, you know, I am a lemur, so, you know, of course I'm going to be attracted to other lemurs. And other species.
And obviously that's not true, but their voices are not taken seriously. And they're going to have a much harder time calling us those things So it's going to take those of us within the actual community to finally,
You have no fucking arguments. Your worries can just as easily be applied to any other event that goes on. How many times have I seen these events where there's like scantily clad with women walking around? No one gives a shit. No one gives a fuck. Someone who's a drag queen is just in a fucking costume. It's just like, you might as well just have some magician come out with a top hat and a vest. You know, some eyeliner on there or whatever. It's the same fucking deal. Like, it's just a fucking it's just all fucking makeup and costuming. Like, oh shit. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, the camp. The camp is gonna really indoctrinate kids. Oh no. Oh no. Spooky, spooky. But you know, this is okay. Oh well, never mind. There's a drag queen right there too. Give me a fucking break, man. Just really elaborate costuming. What about Twisted Sister? Like, you know, Dan Schneider or whatever his name is. Twisted Sister. You know, the majority of people didn't give a shit their kids were listening to this. Or going to shows where guys dressed up like this as, you know, as teenagers. They're still kids, right? Come on, man. And yeah, this essentially is just like metal drag or whatever. Fucking indoctrinate kids. Give me a break.
Put an end to it, and that's what we're gonna do.
So, what was the final straw for you? I mean,
yeah, you know, drag queens versus woman at the beach. Once again. Oh my god. Oh my god. Cover yourself up. Oh, there's kids walking around here. In fact, there's kids in this photo somewhere, I think. Indoctrinating kids. How many straight, sexy billboards? No, just because I typed in sexy, we're just gonna go over here. Oh, Jesus Christ, what the hell is this? That's a grooming sign if I've ever saw one. Grooming. Oh my god, a lady with a snake. What are they suggesting here? Oh, restored church. I love sex. Jesus. Oh my god. Indoctrinating kids. Calvin Klein jeans. Once again, exposing children. Look at that. Look at that grooming size billboard. Man, I wish Final Space had more seasons. I've been resistant to watch the rest because I like a show that has closure, like Kipo. But let's not get distracted. Let's continue on with this.
there was that moment where you're like, oh, hell no. No more. This is stupid.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a plethora of things. It's not only the sexualization of children with the drag queen story hours and you know, drag shows with kids. It's kids being at Pride. Because Pride, you know, Pride events have just evolved into like so sexual, so overtly sexual, and you know, there's a lot of kink stuff there, and people, and they're all labeled as family friendly.
And that's the other thing too. The whole kink scene at Pride is a very small fucking fraction of the overall show that goes on. A lot of this shit's just like sponsored floats by corporate, you know, corporations just smearing their fucking feces logos all over around. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at all that kink in there. Oh my god. Oh, once again, we got some drag queens. Oh shit, that guy doesn't have a shirt. It's just a sexual, all full-on sexual event. Oh my god, and then there's kids here. Oh, these guys are covered in glitter. Gee. Oh man. Why can't they put a shirt on? Don't they know that there's kids walking around here? Oh, someone with googly eyes. I don't know if she. I don't know. She doesn't look old enough. Must have been groomed in a public event. Grooming, you know, something that takes like a month. That takes like months of effort to isolate individual children. You know, yeah, that just happens all the fucking time at a massive pride event full of thousands of people. Give me a fucking break. I mean, nudity itself isn't even sexual. There's nudist colonies still. Oh shit, there's the bikers again we were looking at earlier. I can see a guy in a morph suit right over here. Are nudist colonies grooming children? Because I mean, there are nudist colonies that they have like families and shit living there together. And they just all walk around naked. Like it's nothing. Well, I mean, it is nothing. What about those places? What about nudist colonies? I can't look it up here because I'm on YouTube, but give me a fucking break.
Is that it's the indoctrination of this like radical gender theory in schools.
It's not radical. It's only radical to you because it's new.
Push in schools. So it just all has been culminating to this
It's
tipping
new
point.
that kids are actually being taught these things, so they can grow up a little more accepting than you know, our peers, my peers at least.
Where it's like, wow, this is just getting so much worse and worse and worse. And you know, you see videos every day coming out of another drag queen story hour or another person, you know, a drag queen that performs for children just got busted for like 26 charges of like child porn. So it's
I know what she's talking about there. So yeah, there was a drag queen that got arrested for CP. It's almost like they're normal people, capable of anything, like any normal person. And was there any resistance for her being charged? I'm just asking. Is she going to be let out? Is she being found not guilty because she's a drag queen? No, I doubt it. I'm pretty sure she's going to be facing years upon years of jail time. I love when these people, like, when someone gets arrested for something bad they do, and they act like collectively there's a community trying to say it's okay, even though they didn't. Grooming, for the proper definition, let's just get to the proper definition. So grooming is when an adult or even a teenager, in some cases, gets access to a child and they're able to isolate them from their parents or authority figure, whatever, in some way. And the idea is to coax them, to ease them into the idea of being in a sexual situation or even a relationship down the road. Here we go. Preparing a person for a position requiring skilled behavior. Well, that's the wrong definition. Alright. That's a different definition of grooming there. Alright. So yeah. Finding a child, someone who's vulnerable, someone who's in a vulnerable position, who does not have the mental capacity to resist resist you. Isolating the victim, developing trust with that victim, desensitizing them to simple things at first, you know, to inappropriate touching, discussing sexual topics, attempting to make their behavior, their abuse, seem normal and accepted and natural, despite protest. It's manipulation in a sexual manner. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Grooming is not telling a kid at a fucking school that gay people exist. Grooming is a teacher, for example, having that kid stay after school talking to them in a an adult manner when they're still a child. Yeah, working on them, developing a relationship with them, and with the ulterior motive into eventually having sex with them. That is grooming. It's not fucking dressing up in a drag costume and being flamboyant or hyperbolic in your gesturing and mannerisms for entertainment purposes. That's not fucking grooming.
It's just been nonstop. So
It's another way to say that all gay people are pedophiles without actually saying it now, because they know they can't get away with saying that. So now they have to find a new way to label that type of label that group, so that it can be easier to resist any proposal for equal rights.
I mean, I'd obviously been against this for a long time, as we all are and have been, but
everyone's against fucking actual grooming.
I just couldn't sit by with my platform and not try to do something about it.
You know, and if
once again, these people do not care about protecting children. They care about the idea of protecting children. You won't see these people going after the fucking traffickers that mainly exist in poor areas in Florida, for example. You won't see these people calling for the Catholic Church to be dismantled, since essentially because they're a rape organization, as far as I'm concerned. We did get the Boy Scouts to declare bankruptcy. People at least got that going with all their violations. Instead of actually teaching people the actual signs of what a process of grooming is and where to how to anticipate it, how to prevent it from happening. Instead, they're just going to go around and say gay people are grooming kids because they're dressing weird at a pride event. That's a protest. It's a fucking protest. They have nothing to say about Mardi Gras, but they have everything to say about
hey, guess whaters? Guess
pride
what?
events and gay people.
And these few
celebrations
usually
wow, they have Mardi Gras, and they're Mardi. You got people in blackface. You guys getting whipped? Oh man, what is this? This is a Mardi Gras event? Oh my god, look at this grooming going on. Showing kids whipping?
whipping them.
What is this kink?
You gotta wait.
How dare they show this kinking? Give me a fucking break, man. There's, at Mardi Gras, when women flash their tits, people throw beads to them. It happens all the fucking time. That's how Mardi Gras works. It's just a normal thing that goes on during that event. Look at that. Oh my god, they're exposing themselves. How many times do you go to a pride event and like some guys just pull down their pants? How often does that happen? Without getting arrested.
Just tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, we're that way because you're obviously so much more than that. But this is what's, this is what's interesting about this LGBTQ conundrum. If I see it, it was hard enough for decades for people to come out and be who they are. Two of my closest friends are two married women who have a darling family. They're hardworking people and they cannot tolerate what's going on, but they can't come out, Jamie, as conservatives because the other LGBTQ...
If they're fucking gay conservatives, they're fucking idiots. They do know that they're trying to make their marriage illegal, right? They do know that conservatives are trying to get their marriage rights revoked, right? don't have to comment anything. Right now, the Supreme Court is gearing up to possibly revoke my marriage and her friend's marriage. What are they going to say about that shit? Are they going to try to blame the fucking drag queens and trans people? Are they going to... I know that's what they're going to do. I know Jamie Michelle here and other people like her. If marriage rights get revoked by the Supreme Court, they're going to come out and say that it was all the trans and groomers' fault. It's all their fault. It's not the ones that actually have the power who invoke their power and use their power. It's the ones that have essentially no power in comparison. It's going to be the easy target to go after. That's exactly what's going to happen. And these people are going to blame other people like them just for existing. For daring to express themselves openly and say, yeah, you led us to this. Dumb fucks.
Community comes out at them, and then all of a sudden they're exercised. It's like, wait a minute, you didn't want to be discriminated against, but now you're so quick to discriminate in your own group. It's
You can't say it's discrimination for telling these fucking lesbians that they're idiots for being conservatives. They can come out as conservative, but that doesn't make them free from criticism for being fucking morons.
That's the conundrum in my mind. Do you agree?
It's not good. Criticism is not discrimination. Discrimination is when you get fired from your job for just being alive, for having black skin, for being queer. That's discrimination. Discrimination is when for instance, we try to buy a car and we were denied. And later, because one of us worked for the car company, it was later revealed that they denied us because they didn't like our relationship. Got denied an apartment for the same deal. They didn't like our relationship. Could have just as easily been denied this this place that we're living in now, if the sellers didn't like the relationship.
Oh, 100%. Me and some other friends that happen to be on the right side of politics, we've said for years that now it's easier to come out as gay than it is to come out as, a gay conservative. Like,
well, because they're fucking stupid. Yeah, if you're a gay conservative, you're a fucking idiot. And you deserve to be called an idiot. Prove me fucking wrong that you're not... Prove to me that you're not a fucking idiot for being a gay conservative. Because it doesn't take long for me to pull up every single thing that demonstrates that conservatives hate gay people. And they only like to use people like you as fucking props. So they can try to claim to not be bigots. Just want to know how much money she's getting for this. How much support and how many sponsors is she getting for this?
And just be left alone. When did the same damn they want to love, who want to get the same benefits and be treated the same damn way as everybody who's straight and just be left alone? When did things get so wild?
Exactly.
Wild.
Exactly. And
dare they have fun.
Like,
Pride is a fucking protest. The liberation from oppression and sexual suppression. These fucking weird, repressed individuals who can't help, but all they talk about is what gay people are doing in the fucking bedroom. That because you're gay, you just want to fuck everything in sight. Pride is a protest. It's about freedom of expression. You dumb fuck. You stupid cunt.
Twofold. Obviously, it's to protect kids and stop this being done by people within our community. So many of us don't even want to be associated with the community because of, and that's been going on for quite a while.
Bullshit.
Since it became less about, just who you love and more about sexual fetishes and stuff like that.
It's not about sexual fetishes. Wearing a fucking drag outfit is not sex. This is not sex. This is not sex. None of this is sex. This is a hood. None of this is sex. This is not sex. This is an outfit. This is essentially a costume. Given the right context, it could just be as easily a fucking supervillain in a comic book. It's just an outfit in real life. And this is not sex. Tell me how this is sex. Sexualization happens in the mind. If it doesn't turn you on, then fine. That's it. It's just a hood then. Well, these, once again, it's people telling on themselves.
But yeah, our second part of our second mission is to distance ourselves from this, because we, it's setting us back miles. Like, gay marriage was legalized really not that long ago.
And it's probably going to be repealed, so I hope you're fucking happy.
Decades and decades of
because of people like you. People like you are the cause of this.
To just get equal rights. All we wanted were equal rights under the law, and millions of us were.
Yeah, and it's not just equal rights too. It's also about fighting against bigotry altogether. Just because we have the same right to marry now doesn't mean that people will stop being homophobes. Finding loopholes and ways to fucking discriminate against queer people whenever they can. That didn't go away just because we were allowed to marry.
Fine, stopping our fight there. Like, thank you. We achieved it. We just want.
We were fine stopping our fight there. Are you fucking for real? There's a saying: play centrist games, get fascist prizes. And unfortunately, this is where, like, me and some black people I know relate to me the most, is because we talk about similar shit. The apathy that exists among our peers and are supposedly the same group, whether you're black or queer or Mexican or Asian, where there's all this shit in this fucking country mainly they can point to and say this is wrong. And then there's even, I would say, even a majority more of people to tell you not that they don't care. They're apathetic to it. Like, oh, well, yeah, so what? Get over it. Oh, so what if the Supreme Court wants to get rid of your marriage and reinstate sodomy laws? Just deal with it, just adapt. That's all I want you to do is fucking compromise. It's like the fucking Borg. These conservatives coming in. The Borg comes in, and they fall back. The centrists fall back. They come again, and they fall back more. Again, and again, and again. Again. It's like Picard in First Contact. The conservatives come in, and centrists and the other people just give in.
And to get a thrill from murdering me? Like you killed Ensign Lynch?
There was no way to save him.
You didn't even try. Where was your involved sensibility then?
I don't have time for this.
Oh, hey, I'm...
God, I want to see this movie again. It's so good. But anyways, I don't have time to play that shit. It's like I said, it's like the fucking board.
To integrate into society and be seen as, like, equal to everybody else.
Yeah, and you know how you do that? It's just like the fucking racism shit I learned in human elementary school. They had us watch all these movies, all these specials about the history of racism, desegregation, segregation in the schools, and the trials and tribulations kids had to go through when things were desegregated and black people were allowed in the schools. And it didn't just happen over fucking night. Oh, we're no longer it's no longer legal to segregate? Oh, well, shit. No, people had to fucking endure bullying, attacks, name calling, and the thing about bullies is that they know how to game the system. A good bully knows how to fucking game the system. They'll throw little spitballs at you. you know, until they get an outburst out of you, and then that person gets sent to the hall for being disruptive. You know, they'll do little things. You know, they'll flick your ear, flick you in the back of the head, maybe give you a little kick, and if you turn around and punch the shit out of them and knock them out, you're the one in trouble. That's how it fucking works. And black people are not allowed to get violent, and gay people are just fucking erased every step of the way. Gay people were killed in the Holocaust. They were treated the worst out of any people in that fucking event during World War II. And what was the reward if they survived the concentration camps? Oh yeah, they were just sent back into prison. They were sent back into prison or institutions and given no help because they were considered criminals or mentally ill.
But the radicals, as they always do, they just kept pushing, and it's less about just equality now and more about supremacy, right?
Supremacy? Oh yes, us gays are far superior to thy straights. Bow to me, cis straight white people. Bow to my kiss my feet. Kiss them. Lick that boot. I am a superior, almighty, ubermech queer. Supremacy. Ah yes, all those laws forbidding straight couples from getting together and marrying. All those fair positions that were tested in the courts that were allowed to just bar straight people from buying homes or holding jobs. Or being employed in any field, yeah. All those, so many homeless queer kids. Nah, that is that our supremacy in action there?
They want to be treated with special privileges.
Special privileges. What's the special privilege? You created this. People like you created the situation. There's nothing wrong with being queer, but because of fucking people like you and many other people before you, it's now needed to try to curtail the way society's going into accepting queer people more, because they had a bunch of religious bigots for the longest time, for centuries, teach that homosexuality was a bad thing. And it's going to lead you to hell, it's going to lead you to drugs, it's going to lead you to all these fucking problems. And ultimately, in the early 1900s, they just started to straight up calling anyone queer a pedophile.
They want to restructure all of society to benefit the fringe minority. I mean,
that's what conservatives want to do. 70% of people are in favor of abortion, and yet it got repealed. And yet conservatives fight tooth and nail to repeal it. The majority of people want Medicare for all. And yet Democrats and conservatives fight against it every fucking turn of the way. Give me a fucking break.
And I want to be clear, we're not anti-trans. We're just, we have many trans allies. What we are against is pushing the ideology on children.
It's not an ideology, it's a state of being. Hi, I'm Frank. I'm a trans male. What does that mean? It means I was born in a woman's body. And so when I grew up, I got changed into my correct gender. I am a male at this point. That's it. What's confusing? What is damaging? What is grooming about that? Tell me. Explain yourself.
Yeah, it just seems like in the past few years it has really ramped up against kids. And people, there were radicals on the right. Radical people on the right that warned about the slippery slope.
No, they said that shit, and they were wrong then, and still wrong now. There's never going to be a fucking law or proposal that's taken seriously by any politician that has any fucking sense of a career. That's about allowing kids to be violated. It's never going to happen.
Back then, I was like, you guys are nuts. There is no gay agenda. There is going to be no slope. We just want to get married, and I will never forgive the activists in the community
for teaching kids to be more accepting. You're never going to forgive the activists for making environments safer for us. I can't just go anywhere I fucking want with my husbands, you know that, right? I can't just move to any state I want. A straight person can. Straight people can all fucking time. They can go anywhere they fucking want. They can go to Canada. They can go to Syria. They can go to South America. They can go to Australia, India, China, whatever. They'll be relatively safe there. But if I go to Russia, if I go to Uganda, if I go to Syria, if I go to certain parts of the United States, probably even parts of Canada, I imagine so, Mexico, South America, anywhere. You could find some place anywhere where gay people are just going to be singled out as a target. It doesn't... What other group? Does that happen to straight people? No. Does it happen to fucking white people here? No. Maybe if white people moved into a really poor-ass, mostly black neighborhood, possibly, yes. That's a whole other fucking bag of worms, though. That's just fucking bigotry, and that's just bigotry. That's all it is at that point. But there wasn't systemic laws that's kept colored people down and out. There's been laws that kept queer people down and out too for the longest time, and practices and policies. And same thing with black people. Those don't exist for white people. Those don't exist for straight people. Try being a gay teacher in the 80s or 70s and just being honest about who you are and what you are. Try it. Try fucking putting a picture of your girlfriend, a lesbian girlfriend, or your boyfriend, your husband, if you're male, or you know what you looked like before and what you look like now after your transition. Try doing that any fucking time. Early 2000s and before. Try it. See what fucking happens.
For proving them to basically be...
Even now, actually, what am I saying? Even now, today, in some certain schools and cities, try it now. See how long it takes before you get a complaint or two.
Right, about the slippery slope, and now we're at the damn near bottom of it.
Right.
And we're going to reverse it because it's bad for the kids, it's bad for us.
How's it bad for the kids to know that queer people exist? She can't explain it. She won't.
Homophobia, I don't even like to say it, homophobia. It's just basically acceptance of the whole community is declining rapidly right now. And it's not rocket science as to why. Stop going after children.
Right.
That's literally it. And now anything you see alphabet related, that's all you see now.
Yes.
Is just so people are associating us with going after kids, and that like the mass majority of us are completely against it. So we're going to get really loud, and we're going to be a force that they can't ignore.
I love this. Do you have 5 more? Do you have 5 more minutes? I just have to hit a quick commercial break, but it's the Don't Say Gay bill. Does that infuriate you that the left will stop at nothing to conflate facts just to feed its rabid base?
Yes.
What the fuck is that look?
Quote unquote Don't Say Gay bill, which is funny because gay was never even, the word gay was not in the bill at all.
Doesn't matter. You can't talk about you can't talk about sexuality around kids in the fucking elementary school. So I guess sex ed is out of the question, right? Like when I learned to sex ed in 4th grade, was that grooming? When I learned how the body parts work for adults and developing teenagers and shit like that, so we could prepare ourselves for puberty and to understand and not freak out that there's hair growing in funny places and we're getting funny feelings about people. Was that grooming? Was that fucking grooming? Let's see. High schooler. Curly hair. So, like, because of this bill in Florida, high schools had to remove anything that mentioned queer people at all. This guy right here, he couldn't say that he was gay in high school. He had to say that he had curly hair.
That we ask people to come and perform at our school and grace us with his presence.
All right.
The manager ended up requesting that we leave him alone or pay his booking fee, which I confirmed that it cannot be paid at 1,400 units. But we tried. Ultimately, Mr. Worldwide did not get to experience the glory of performing in a PE space that doubles as a testing center. But This movement united us and reminded me that we as a class and generation will come together for things that matter.
But yeah, he couldn't say that he was gay. It was rejected by the school, so he had to say they had curly hair as a substitute. So I mean, it is a don't say gay bill.
But that's
it
what the left
is. It was
does,
just
right?
proven
They
right there
manipulate
in
language.
that one
It's like,
case.
it's kind of like Black
and
Lives
multiple
Matter.
cases
Like,
at this point.
you can't come out against Black Lives Matter because what? That means you literally don't think Black
Lives Matter is a necessary protest because black people were sick of being stomped down by the fucking Gestapo police force. So yes. It's not only Black Lives Matter, it's that Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter too. Let's see, that's not going to CNN here. Yeah, they ain't new. I know none of these bills are new. They've been trying this shit for decades now. They just managed to finally pass some in Florida and probably Ohio. Maybe not results, effects. Impact.
People's lives matter. They always get you caught up in the language. They're very good at that. But yeah, it's disgusting. Honestly, it's my belief and many others in our coalition that the quote unquote don't say gay bill didn't even go far enough, right? It only
didn't go
went
far
up
enough. What do you mean?
That's what I was saying. I'm like, what are we doing? Go up to 6th.
Yeah, 4th graders are 9-year-olds.
That's when I learned fucking sex ed. What are you talking about? That's when shit starts changing for the most part. Like, it was like a year and a half later, shit for me started changing. My body started growing.
Like, no.
I think it's a pretty good time to start teaching kids what's going to happen to them so they be a little more prepared.
I think that any kid, regardless of straight sex, like gay sex, any kind of sex, they shouldn't be learning about this stuff until they're well into their teen years. I mean like 16, 17, 18 maybe, you know? So I don't think the bill goes far enough, but obviously it's a great first step. But no, anybody with a few more brain cells than your average leftist can understand that it's not hateful in any way, you know? And that's what we believe.
I secretly love you. Okay, so tell me this. Where does this radicalized section, this faction of LGBTQ, where does it go too far? Where does the pendulum come back and swing the other way, where it's just not so crazy?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of our taglines that I always say is like #reverse the slope.
Reverse the slope.
It all started going real south a long time ago, honestly, you know. Like I said, we have nothing against trans people, but there is a stark difference between LGB and T. I've never liked that we're lumped in together because LGB is who you love and the T is who you are. They're fundamentally
Quit trying to separate fucking trans people from this shit. I don't understand this movement at all.
So, you know.
No, it's not. It's not. Essentially not. When it comes down to discrimination, they're just gonna fucking find new ways to hate you, and try to restrict you.
So as soon as and it's like the trans people kind of drown out all of the gay people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, drown out. No, it's because they become the target of people like you and even gay people in some instances.
Well, honestly, back then when the trans movement really started rising, and I think that is what really started to push things over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I want to make it clear.
Oh, see, yep, there it is. That little subtle hint. It's when the trans movement started that things got pushed over the edge. So, yep, they're already setting things up to blame trans people for any pushback against gay rights, queer rights in general.
That is what really started to push, except for the people that are specifically targeting children.
Yes.
Nobody cares. I think very few people left in the country actually care what adults are doing behind closed doors. It's like, but
well, there's a certain minority that's finding its way in the positions of power that do care, and I don't see you talking about them. No, you'd rather talk about fucking drag queen story hour or fucking inconsequential distraction far as I'm concerned,
You know, it's
go
also
fuck
being pushed down
yourself.
everyone's throats. Even not just about kids. I mean, Pride Month, you cannot look anywhere for 2 seconds and not see a rainbow. It's like, you know, gay people make up about 7% of the country, and we're, you know, the whole country and the whole world is being
More
blasted
right-wing
with it for 30
talking
days,
points.
But you know, America only gets 1 day, so it's just
America gets 1 day. Shut the fuck up. America, America, I love America. I suck its dick, I drink its cum. America is great. Lick its boots, bend it over. Yeah. I love me America.
it's a lot. It's been coming for a while, but you know, I don't think that people really were going to do anything until they started going after kids. And I really never thought that would happen, but we're here now, and we're.
But it's okay to teach your kids about Bible school and Bible and Jesus, and that they're going to go to hell if they think the wrong thoughts. It's okay to do that, right? That's not grooming and all in that definition. If you want to have this broad definition of grooming, teaching your kids that there's an invisible man in the sky named Jesus and God, and he's watching every move that you make. He's watching you in the bathroom. He's watching you masturbate. He's watching you sleep. He's watching you eat. He knows everything that you're thinking. He knows everything that you're going to think in the from now until the end of your life. And then if you do any wrong things, if you do anything bad, he's got a special place in hell he's going to send you to, where you get to suffer and die for all eternity. America, the land of the devolved. Yeah, that's about right. But yeah, it's okay to teach kids about God and all this other superstitious shit. You know, you can't just teach a kid about your ritual or tradition like it's something that you do for fun. Like, I don't know, if you had a tradition of once a year getting together and doing a rain dance or something like that. You know, you do that for like fun. You don't. Or just like recognizing historical ancestry, for instance. But you go to the point where you say, like, you have to do this. If you don't do this, you're scum. If you don't go to church, if you don't believe in God, you're an evil piece of shit. You can say all that to kids. You can teach that shit to them all day. Every fucking day, to the point where they're deranged adults that do shit like this. That hate on gay people all the time.
We're gonna end it.
Jamie, how do people find you? How do they follow you?
Nope, you ain't fucking advertising on here, bitch. Alright, well, last thing here. So I just had this comments thread here. In fact, I'll just link it if you want to read it. But essentially, I just talked about how religion is abuse. Teaching kids about God and saying that they're going to go to hell or whatever is abuse. So we had a little discussion here. I just want to read the last one here. If you truly believe all religion is inherently backwards and evil, I suppose there isn't any room for conversation. Well, it is inherently backwards and evil. It demonstrates that throughout centuries and thousands of years at this point. I just ask you, be respectful of the millions whose religions are catalysts for personal growth and spiritual development. The KKK's beliefs are a catalyst for personal growth and spiritual development too. They're fucking mainly Christian. So no, I don't have to respect people's beliefs. I don't have to respect anyone's beliefs. You can believe anything that you want. You have the freedom to believe any stupid shit that you want. The things that matter are why you believe it, and I don't have to respect the belief in itself. I don't have to respect anyone's fucking beliefs. Beliefs don't mean shit. Facts do. You have to respect everyone's fucking beliefs. No, I fucking don't. No, I fucking don't. Anyways, used for good and have done good. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at something right here. Some religious people believe this was good. There's plenty of religious people in Syria that want to take my head off. That would just take my head off. They believe that's good. Let's see. I've done good for its practitioners' communities. For example, growing up in a religious community and attending a religious private school as openly lesbian, I was never once discriminated against. Well, good for you. A lot of people are. Additionally, there was an openly trans kid who I participated in running a service with. Yeah, well, now he's not allowed to run, I guess. And we had a lesbian pastor fill in at one point while we were in between reverends. That's cute. You know, there used to be... That's cute that religious organizations are adapting to the social changes. They put their finger to the wind, like, oh, people are accepting of gay people now? We're losing church membership? How do we get church membership back? We're going to open ourselves to queer people now. That's it. That's all it comes down to. They're still full of shit. My community used its churches to organize dozens of outreach programs, food banks, homeless... Yeah, they can do that without the fucking superstition. You know that, right? Why can't... You know, these churches and these buildings, at the very most, should just be open community centers. You know? Doesn't matter what you fucking ultimately believe. You can still have a food bank. You can still have a homeless shelter. In fact, you could even outreach to more people if you just get rid of your superstition. You're isolating weird superstition. Supporting sister schools in third world countries to give opportunities to children who would otherwise not be able to be educated. And even if they're moving across the continent, the local churches are painting their front steps rainbow for Pride Month. Yeah. Again, just adapting shit. Well, that's all the time I got for today. I'm going to go get some artwork done and get ready for regular art streams on the other channel here. You know, this is where I basically do more of a chill hang out and working stream. Getting shit done. I got a video to edit for a character, well, not a character, you know, a new person coming to fruition called Mr. Anti-Woke. You see more videos in the Crafty Arts channel. Trying to do weekly videos on there. In fact, I'm going to start working on one today for Thursday. Until then, thanks for you for coming by, Clarkson and Heather and anyone else who just happens to by here. I see plenty of people coming in and out for a bit. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. Have a good, fantastic night. Good night.
Da